Recorded Books presents Thraldom, A History of Slavery in the Viking Age by Stefan Brink. Narrated by the author. A note from the author. In Scandinavia, they use a different periodization than in the rest of Europe. In this book, the Scandinavian periodization is used, hence prehistory ends with the end of the Viking Age, 1050 to 1100, and the Middle Ages is consequently between circa 1100 and 1500. Prologue. One summer's day in 1627, more specifically on July the 16th, 4 ships approached the south coast of Iceland. On board the ship were North African corsairs, licensed by their homelands to plunder and raid across Europe. 3 of the ships headed for Heimaey, the largest of the Vestmannaeyjar. The corsairs went ashore on this peaceful and utterly defenseless island. Brutally and ruthlessly, the local population was raided. They were plundering and killing. Witnesses reported that a man had his head sliced off right under his eyes, and that his body was chopped up the way you would slaughter a sheep. The priest and psalmist Jón Thorsteinsson, who was famous in Iceland, knelt down to pray to God for help, but he, too, was soon slain. About 30 individuals of the small population were killed that morning. The majority of the Icelanders were taken prisoners and brought down to the harbour. Afterward, all houses were set on fire. An old woman and a 2-year-old child she was carrying walked too slowly for the liking of the North Africans, and both she and the child were thrown into the fire. The small farming and fishing community in Heimaey had nothing of value that the pirates could plunder. What they were after was people. Together with the 15 individuals that a 4th ship had robbed from the mainland, a total of about 380 Icelanders were forced away from their homes in this year of terror, 1627, in order to be brought to Africa and sold as slaves in Algeria. One of the captives was the priest Olafur Eyjolfsson. He has described how the prisoners were divided up in Algiers. The captain took 2 Icelanders. Representatives of the Turkish Sultan were given every 8th man, woman and child, and then the rest were divided into 2 halves, with the ship owners claiming one and the sailors the other. Olafur's 11-year-old son was given to the king. Olafur himself was placed with some other Icelandic men in a house, while his wife and 2 younger children were taken to another house. It seems that Olafur, probably in his capacity of priest, functioned as some sort of leader or spokesman among the remaining Icelanders, and because of this he was sent home to Denmark in order to obtain ransom with which his enslaved countrymen's freedom could be purchased. The 60-year-old priest succeeded in reaching Denmark without any funds at all, and also in collecting money for the purpose. This endeavour resulted in the rescue of some of the 380 Icelanders who were taken captive. The freedom of 34 was bought in 1635 with public and collected means. 9 were bought free in 1644. 20 succeeded in purchasing their own freedom. 35 died of illness and hardship, and 282 stayed on, gone forever. Olafur and his wife Austa eventually returned to Heimaey, but they never
Sample complete. Ready to continue?